Hackers have breached the Trump 2024 campaign, leaking internal communications including a dirty laundry dossier on J.D. Vance, potentially linked to Iranian-sponsored cyber threat group Mint Sandstorm, in an effort to cause chaos ahead of a US election. How did these hackers manage to infiltrate this campaign, and what are the implications of their actions? Researchers have found new vulnerabilities in solar panel management platforms that could potentially cause power outages by tampering with inverter settings, with the potential to gain control over account information and sensitive data. And finally, new research shows that a staggering 94% of businesses were hit by phishing attacks in 2023, which is a 40% increase over 2022, with threat actors deftly exploiting AI and phishing as a service to craft agile campaigns that capitalize on current events and evolving situations. So how can businesses and individuals effectively defend against this rise in phishing attacks? You're listening to the Daily Decrypt. This most recent Saturday, the news agency Politico was made aware that the Trump campaign had been hacked, which has since been confirmed by the Trump campaign themselves. And the list of dirty documents includes a dirty laundry dossier on J.D. Vance, as well as many other internal documents dating all the way back to February. And as of right now, we don't know exactly how these attackers gained a foothold in the campaign, because they haven't exactly admitted to illegally obtaining these documents, even though the Trump campaign says these documents were illegally obtained. If the source admits that, it sounds like they will not legally be able to publish these documents. So, all that to say is that the source is not giving up any other information on how they received these documents, but they have been confirmed to be legitimate. And as we try to piece these things together to try to figure out how these attackers gained access, we're going to rewind a little bit and see that a Microsoft threat intelligence report revealed that a high-ranking campaign official fell for a spear phishing email in June of 2024. The email was sent from a compromised account of a former advisor and contained a hyperlink that redirected through a hacker-controlled domain, which checks out according to what we know about the Microsoft attacks that happened earlier this year. And we don't know for sure, but the Trump campaign is pointing fingers at Iranian state-sponsored hackers, specifically a group known as Mint Sandstorm, which has a history of targeting US presidential elections, such as the one in 2020, all the way back to 2016. But it's important to remember that we do not have confirmation that it is this group. But we also believe it is a little more complicated than the previous Trump hacks, such as in 2012, 2016, and 2020, where just a group of people were able to guess Donald Trump's password and he didn't have multi-factor authentication enabled. So yes, a little more complicated than that, thank goodness. Sounds like he may have turned on multi-factor authentication since then. Researchers have just discovered critical vulnerabilities in solar management systems by Solarman and Deye, potentially leading to major power blackouts. These cybersecurity experts were from Bitdefender, and they found that attackers could exploit flaws to take over accounts and control solar inverters. The account takeover is possible through authorization token manipulation, because it sounds like there's token reuse in the Deye cloud, which can then be used to leak information through various API endpoints. And if exploited, attackers could control inverter settings and disrupt power grids. They could cause blackouts, and they could even harvest sensitive user data for phishing and other malicious activities. It's also noted that these researchers found a hard-coded account with the hard-coded password of 123456. And as a developer, I know exactly how tempting it is to just create a quick password, create a quick service account, and hard-code it while you're testing. Like, as you're developing the code, you'll be tempted to take these shortcuts just to see if your proposed solution works out, right? But once that proposed solution works out, are you going to remember to remove those hard-coded credentials, or are you just going to take the fact that it works and push it to production? So if you're a developer listening, really do your best to try not to take these workarounds during the development phase, because they may make it into production and make it past your reviewers, and you may forget to remove them. So it's best to just never do it if possible. But the good news about this story is that Solarman and Deye have fixed these vulnerabilities in a relatively recent patch. So make sure, if you're an administrator or if you have solar panels by this company, that you update your software, update your firmware. And just a general security tip, make your passwords a little more complicated than 123456. And finally, we've got a little bit of research that shows that phishing attacks spiked by 40% last year. And this is because crooks have started using AI to craft super convincing phishing emails and even deepfake videos. And as if that wasn't enough, phishing as a service lets anyone with some cash hire professionals to do their dirty work. These two things combined have led to over 94% of all companies getting hit with some sort of phishing attack. And I'm not entirely sure how that statistic was grabbed because it seems like every company is probably getting hit with phishing attacks. But we've confirmed that 94% have. And we just wanted to take a second to sort of do our little human risk management, security awareness pitch, right? Anytime there's really anything major event-wise in your life, in the world, you're going to see a spike in these phishing attacks. For example, the CrowdStrike incident that happened a couple weeks ago, there was a large spike due to the desperation of the people who were affected by the CrowdStrike outage. But it's not just those unexpected events. You got to be careful for planned events like the Olympics that just happened, where fake websites and emails were promising free tickets or requiring small delivery fees that trick people into giving up all of their financial information. There were also fake apps that looked legit surrounding the UEFA Euro to include official logos and maybe even mimicking legitimate apps. But just know that major events like these will cause a spike in phishing, and to just not click anything that's sent to you by someone that you don't know. And even if you're expecting some sort of text message, like you just bought tickets on Ticketmaster or something like that, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Do some vetting before you go clicking on things and giving up financial information. And on a more personal note, I'm a little glad that this spike is happening because it's now forcing everyone to become aware that phishing is a real threat, almost to the point that we can't trust anything, which makes it really easy to not click links. Like I just won't click any links. So treat every link you come across as a potential threat and start retraining your brain so that when you see something too good to be true, anything, you're prompted to think more critically about it. And honestly, as you're training your brain, you can do this throughout the day. It doesn't even have to be a link you received, right? If you're on social media and you see something that seems great and you start to get jealous, use that as an opportunity to train your brain to look at it a little more critically. Or if you hear a piece of news that goes along with what you believe, take that opportunity to think a little bit more critically as well, so that when you're presented with these too good to be true or urgent offers, your brain is trained to think a little more critically.
This has been the Daily Decrypt. If you found your key to unlocking the digital domain, show your support with a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It truly helps us stand at the frontier of cyber news. Don't forget to connect on Instagram or catch our episodes on YouTube. Until next time, keep your data safe and your curiosity alive.